Hello, friends. Welcome to the Slim, Fitty, and Biggie Committee podcast, where we review hip hop albums so that you don't have to. Coming up on today's show, we have part one of Cyhi The Prince's mixtape, The Black Hystori Project. All right, let's get into it. So, podcast number 2, The Black Hystori Project by Cyhi The Prince. Matt, this one was your choice.
It sure was.
How'd you come up with it? Like, what was your thoughts in deciding this was the one you wanted to do?
I had a few thoughts, actually.
That's unusual.
Anyway, moving on from that. I had a few thoughts. I wanted to write down my thoughts and present them to you boys. And I think I remember sending them to you in a message, when I suggested that we review this mixtape. So I'm just looking back through what I sent. So to summarize, I remember I chose this mixtape for 5 reasons. One, because I've just been impressed with Cyhi The Prince as an artist for some time now. Ever since Danny, I think, first introduced him to me. I love his he just has such a unique sound. I don't know, maybe Danny or you, Aaron, might be able to compare him to someone else. I just can't compare him to anyone else.
He is uncomparable.
Yeah.
But which album did it? Was it a song or was it an album that hooked?
Yeah, well, it was actually this mixtape was the one that hooked me, because this was the first body of work or songs from this body of work that I had heard, which Danny introduced me to. I think there was a collection that he showed me. Napoleon was one of them. Basquiat was another one. And
Do you remember? I think it was you came over once and I just had this playlist playing. It was random, but it was a Cyhi playlist, and I think I'm Fine was on it. Do you remember?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that was the one that got us. That was super catchy, and that's from the album. But that's the one where we were just singing that shit all day. But on that playlist was also, like you're saying, Napoleon and all that. But I think I'm Fine was where it started.
Really? Okay.
For you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be. But I just remember being really impressed with his unique sound. I liked his flows and his lyrics. His lyrics were just wow, this shit's crazy. I also picked this mixtape because I've only listened to his debut album, so the No Dope on Sundays, in its entirety, and I haven't listened to any other works of his in their entirety, so I wanted to do something else of his that was new for me. I'd only heard positive things about this mixtape from Danny and from others, online, so I knew this was going to be a worthwhile review for us. I knew we were going to enjoy it, well, hopefully anyway. 4, we haven't reviewed Cyhi The Prince yet as a committee, so I was like, this is fresh. And finally, I've ordered them in sort of list of importance to me, but this is still important. Dead End Hip Hop have reviewed this particular mixtape, and I just get so excited to watch their reviews, particularly when I've listened to an album completely. I just want to hear their thoughts and compare them to mine. So, for example, after The Allegory by Royce, which we reviewed, as soon as we finished our podcast, I went and I watched the Dead End Hip Hop review, and I was just it just tops off the whole experience for me. So, they're my reasons for choosing this mixtape for us to review.
Matt, if you mention other review people on our podcast every single episode, I swear to God.
Shout outs to the OGs, mate,
We've done that shout out on the last. I think we can skip it. I think the interesting part about this one is that you two have got a little bit of experience when it comes to Cyhi, and obviously a little bit of experience when it comes to this mixtape. I haven't heard any of it, so this was straight off the bat. Like, I've heard No Dope on Sundays, but I haven't really been exposed to Cyhi at all.
Mm. What do you mean you heard No Dope on Sundays? You've heard the whole album?
No, just the song.
Oh, that's the only thing you know is
That's
No Dope
pretty
on
much
Sundays.
it. I don't really have any other background on Cyhi.
You don't remember like anything, like us ever playing anything or talking about him or anything?
Not really. I remember like you guys discussing a line or two, but it must have just gone over my head. I just would have been there and didn't register. It didn't inspire me to, like, you guys must have just been talking and I just was thinking about something else, but I never went and actively searched.
Yeah. So going in completely fresh. What did you know about him? Did you know anything about him?
Well, I didn't really. I was just like, all right, Cyhi, I know there's a bit of, positive news coming his way, but, I did do a little bit of research and just had a look through. He's only got one like studio album. Everything else has been mixtapes, and he co-signed with Kanye, and he was also part of he had this weird he was part of like Def Jam for a bit as well. It's quite interesting, like his journey, because he was co-signed to like Def Jam and Good Music, i.e. Kanye's, at the same time, and then Def Jam got rid of him in 2015. So I think he was there since 2009. So he was there for ages. I think it was Convict Music who signed him under Def Jam Records.
Right.
It's like this weird kind of journey that he's been on, but now he's just under Good Music.
I've actually heard like that was one of the reasons why he, like the No Dope on Sunday album took so long to come out, because he just had a lot of issues with labels and like his history and sort of the game hasn't been as favourable for him as it could have been. Like he obviously has talent, but yeah, from what I've heard, it doesn't seem like he's had like a really lucky run. Like obviously being signed with Kanye is good, but I don't think people should base what they think of Cyhi on his one debut album. I
guess the interesting thing is that his first mixtape came out in 2010. That's Royal Flush. And then No Dope Sundays didn't come out until 2017. And he's got 7 mixtapes. So, he's done a lot of work to get where he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because, you say he has 7 mixtapes. This is the only one I've ever heard of and listened to. This Black Hystori Project. Everything else,
This is his 6th mixtape. So he did 5 before this. So he did Royal Flush 2, Jack of All Trades, Ivy League Club, and Ivy League Club Kickback, all before the Black Hystori Project.
Oh.
And
I what it would be like to go back and listen to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be worth it because, arguably these two, the Black Hystori Project and the second one that follows this, Black Hystori Project 2, the buzz is all around those 2 particular mixtapes of his. However, some of his other mixtapes might be good as well. So, I don't know, maybe the mixtapes is where, it's at for Cyhi because, he's still sort of trying to find his feet in, maybe not, but he's still trying to find his feet in sort of the studio album world or get the right support that he needs. But, I don't know, it's sort of like Drake, isn't it? With, if you're reading this, it's too late. That was initially released as a mixtape, but that shit is so dope that it's I don't know, was it his decision to go, nah, it's actually an album, guys? I don't know, maybe or maybe not, it might be the case for this mixtape. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, it's just clear that Cyhi just has nowhere near the amount of appeal that someone like Drake has.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why I reckon he's only come out with one album in 2017 and then has been quiet ever since. Like, they don't know how to market him. Like, he's a rapidy rapper. It's hard to get into the mainstream as a rapidy rapper.
I mean, I think he's done a couple of features, but it is hard, because you go up against your Drakes and you go up against, Travis Scott, and it's really hard to get in. It's just oversaturated, and, they don't really have that mainstream appeal when you come to a real lyricist.
Yeah. When there's artists like Cyhi, who obviously have so much talent, it's like, if they were sort of managed well or I don't know, promoted well, I just wonder how big they could get. Like, for example, we're not even probably 10 minutes in, and I'm already mentioning Eminem. But with Eminem, it's like he's even said himself, as well as other people in the industry, one of Eminem's one of the contributing factors to his success, other than being one of the greatest of all time, is that Paul Rosenberg just knew exactly how to market Eminem. And he made all the right moves at the right time to make Eminem as big as he could be. So it's like, I wonder if the people in Cyhi's corner are doing exactly that, because...
But how can you turn around and say that he's been, potentially not managed correctly when he's been signed with Kanye for, since 2010? It's really weird to say that, but Kanye isn't exactly a failure, and he's been with Def Jam as well. I think the problem is that he doesn't have something that's different enough, is what would be difficult to market about. You can't compare Eminem. Eminem changed the game because he had something that no one else had. Can we say that about Cyhi? I guess, maybe we'll find out at the end of the review, but it's hard to turn around and say he's been mismanaged, and maybe it's managers, but at the same time, he's released a lot of music. He's got a lot of stuff out there. It just hasn't caught traction.
Yeah. And that makes me wonder why. Why hasn't this guy caught traction? Are people just sleeping on him? I don't know.
Some people just stay underground. Some people just don't get mainstream appeal, and some people just, no matter how good they really are, they never make it to what people actually care about. I mean, you look at Royce as a good example. We reviewed his album last week, but he's been with Eminem for a long time. If anything, he's had the huge opportunity to blow up, but he just hasn't been able to, and he's made all different types of tracks. He's made tracks from your gangster lyricist rap to your poppy shit, to, and now he's producing his own music. But what is it? Sometimes it's just people can't get into it, or they just doesn't appeal to a mainstream.
Yeah, or it could be, I suppose, that maybe those particular artists don't want to be a part of the mainstream. Maybe they want to do their own shit, not for the radio, not for that sort of thing, just for them, for
just
themselves. I'll be honest, I knew that was coming. I was setting it up for someone.
Yeah,
I don't do this shit for radio. I do this shit for basketball.
I got my graffiti in Swahili.
All right, guys, do you want to just wrap this whole
Alrighty, let's get into it. The Black Hystori Project, Cyhi The Prince, track 1, the prelude. Matt, I know you love a prelude. What do you think?
I do love a prelude. I you guys know my album rating system. I review every track. So prelude, interlude, bloody outro, whatever it is, I review it. So I, first of all, start off by saying this is a 3-star prelude.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's above average. Doesn't blow my socks off though, but it's a nice short track. I like how it introduces Cyhi by his real name, tells you a little bit about, when he was born and where he was born. So I'm already sort of being able to connect with him through knowing a little bit more about him. I also think it's really cool that it's framed in the sense of a conversation between a teacher and a student, and that the student is presenting his Black Hystori Project. I feel that gives it a really nice platform to sort of introduce Cyhi to this mixtape. And it also subtly suggests that this project is going to bring some educational shit, because, like, you know, it's in the classroom environment, and you know, the student is presenting his project to the class. So, yeah, I'm a fan of this prelude. I hope this sort of is to continue throughout the album as like a story, an ongoing story.
But the way you talk about the prelude is as if it's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Why'd you give it 3?
Because if I was to give, like, if it's just a speech, if it's just like talking, I'm probably only ever going to give it around 3. If it's got some like lyrics in it, some music, then we're getting into the realms of 4. I don't know if I'd ever be able to bring myself to, as much as I love a prelude, giving it 5 stars. It's not essential to the album, but to the mixtape. But it, like, I feel it adds another element or like to it that gets you involved in the story of the mixtape. I say later on, I think, when we're talking about the interlude or the next interlude of this track, I mean this album, fuck, this mixtape, what am I saying? When we go into the next interlude of this mixtape, I think I recall writing down something like, when they're presented in like a story that transitions throughout the body of work, it makes it feel like an album to me. Yeah. So it makes it feel like a big, like, production, it almost makes it feel like a movie, for example. Like you're watching a movie. So, like, although this might not be essential, it makes it feel more professional for me personally. So, you know, it's 3 stars because it's beginning a story. It doesn't have any music or any raps to it, but it's good. I like it. I hope it continues.
I almost think it is essential. I think it, like you said, it makes this mixtape feel like an album. And that is like such a positive to say about a mixtape, that a mixtape feels like an album. Like, that's really good. And I think the skit works. And, like, if I was listening to this mixtape, I would never skip this. I would never skip the prelude. I would always listen to it because it just sets it up perfectly. I reckon it's really good. I'm not going to give it a star rating, but yeah, I would never skip this prelude because it works.
Well, I think the good thing is that it, like, alludes what the whole album's going to be about. That was what I liked about it. And it was short. Like, it wasn't a long skit. It was, like, really quick. So I didn't hate it being there because it didn't take up too much time. If it went for 2.5 minutes, I'd be like, well, all right, you know, cut this shit down.
Yeah, and that's with all of them. All of them are less than 30 seconds. All of them are not attached to an actual song, so they're their own thing that if you do want to skip it, you can very easily. It's just like, yeah, it's not offensive at all. So I'm very okay with it. I like it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I think that moves perfectly into track 2, intro, Black Hystori. Danny, do you want to kick this one off?
Why not? The intro, it's short and it's very sweet, baby. I could hear this beat, like, play for hours. I love this beat. Like, and so I feel like Cyhi could, if he wanted to, rap on this beat for hours. Like, he could do that. Like, it doesn't matter. This song could be 1 minute, which it is, or it could be 20 minutes, and I would just love it the same, I reckon. And he's got, like, cool, like, Cyhi is a great rapper. That is going to be the theme of this mixtape. Cyhi is a good rapper, a great rapper. And he has really funny lines, like, straight off the bat. I'm like an old piece of French cheese. I'm so legendary. Like,
do you get that? Do you like? Sorry to interrupt, but, like, do you see what he's done there with that lyric?
I kind of see. I don't fully understand it because I know dairy. I know. Yeah, go on.
Well, the dairy part's I think obvious, but it's like he's saying. Yeah, but he's saying like I'm like an old piece of French cheese nigger and I'm so legendary. So the like old, obviously, and legend, like a legend is something that's old. It's like a tale
I didn't even get
story
that part.
that comes from the past, and then he combines that with, of course, the second part of the word legendary, dairy, which is referring to, dairy products such as cheese. So it's so witty. That's my favorite track lyric of this track. Like,
now, can I just ask, did you get that from Rap Genius?
Did I get it? Well, see, that's the thing. When I listened to this album, I had 3 or 4 things open. One, I had SoundCloud open because that's where I managed to find the mixtape from. 2, I had Genius open because every single track I've listened to, I followed along with the lyrics. So, yes, I picked up on, I think, a lot of lines that I possibly wouldn't have if I didn't have Genius open. 3, I had my...
Yeah, but so you clicked the link that was this line and you read it, and that's what it said.
No, I didn't open it.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I tried not to do that. But, I did have Rap Genius open just to follow along with the lyrics, so I didn't miss anything. But I didn't want to click the links and have it all explained to me, because then that's not what Cyhi would want you to do, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even care. I got I thought it was I didn't think it really worked because I thought it was, I got the dairy, cheese dairy, and I got, maybe it was because all French words start with le, or, so it was like legendary.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't make sense. But the way you're saying it kind of makes more sense. But besides that, the way he delivers the line makes the line. Delivery is everything. Cyhi on this mixtape is the king of delivery. He makes every punchline sound amazing. You're going to see that over and over in this album. Just every mixtape hits. Every punchline lands with maximum impact.
Yeah, pacing is really nice here. He just paces each rhyme so well, and the rhymes are really good and they're really punchy. If we go from that French cheese line, I used to play in the corner the secondary, but somewhere deep beneath my mind there was a treasure buried. Instead of rapping about them pistols that you never carried, tell them how them folks hide your ass to Nevuary.
Hey.
It's just multi-syllable rhymes. It is just punchy shit, and it's just smart. I love this as well. This was, in my opinion, an amazing intro.
Yeah, definitely. I want to point out a couple more that I liked. Just our daddies were in the chain gang, so it's hereditary. I like how it ties in with the theme of Black history. And also how it compares slaves to wearing chains around their ankles to rappers wearing gold chains around their necks. I think that's just really clever. But my favorite is, this is death of the trap. If you're sleeping on me, go enjoy the rest of your nap. That says something. If you underrate Cyhi, then you don't appreciate good music and he doesn't want you as a fan. And if you don't listen to Cyhi, he doesn't even care. He makes music for Basquiat. He makes it for the art. You will learn that later. So yeah, this is a fantastic way to start the album. It doesn't matter that it's a minute long. It's still 5 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 5 stars as well. And the beat is amazing. Heavy drums. This whole album has great drums. There's so many albums out there, and this is a mixtape and he still has that heavy drum hit on every single track. And it's a pet peeve of mine to have weak drums, and they just hit in this one. It was produced so well. Tech beats, it was so good. As soon as it starts hitting. You're like, yeah, I could listen to this all day.
Yeah, 100%.
It's for me, it's dope. Like 100%, I agree with both of you. I love the melodic instrumental in the background as well as the solid beat. Are you getting a taste here for Cyhi's like conscious rap lyrics? That he's a conscious rapper, and like I feel that this song is perfectly placed for like at the beginning of the album for him to make that strong statement with those lyrics that Danny said at the favourite. This is death of the trap. If you're sleeping on me, don't enjoy the rest of your nap. I'm tired of hearing fake N and the regular raps. They write, I guess there ain't no real leaders left on the map. Like, he's just putting himself out there and just being, like, setting the tone for the album here, which is what... Oh, sorry, I'm going to get this mixed up because it feels like an album. He's setting the tone for the mixtape, like loud and clear from the beginning. Based on this intro, like, I think my expectations of the whole project, I expected to hear like profound lyrics centered around like current events and issues related to obviously Black history, and like he's effectively set the bar like incredibly high with this track. My favorite lyrics are of course the French cheese line. I think that's just funny, and it's just like it's
the way he delivers it though.
It's the delivery.
When you listen to it, do you sing along to it? Do you go, I'm like an old piece of French cheese? Do you say that? I say that every time. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's catchy for sure. Like it's classic. The only thing holding like back or holding this track back from being worthy of 5 stars for me is its length. It left me wanting more. But like I wrote down here, maybe that's what Cyhi's intention, and considering it's titled as an intro track, maybe I've been too critical. Like I put that down here, like so. You know, you both could be right. It could be a 5-star track, but for me on this listen, it was 4 because it was just too short. Like make a song out of it. If, as you said before, Danny, you could rap over this beat for hours. Mm-hmm. Turn it into a song, put a nice hook on it, and then you've got 5 stars from me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I think this is where my critique goes: is that you have a prelude and then an intro, and you almost don't need both. But having said that, I would much prefer this than the prelude, even though I don't have any gripes against the prelude. This, to me, like, is just an amazing way to start an album. So, you know, even though it's short, it's still 5 stars. Like, it's just, it gets you into it. You're like, I want to listen to the next track.
Yeah, but like, having said that, when you start this mixtape from, you know, the start, do you ever listen to that prelude and go, oh, not this again? You go, oh yeah, here we go. All right, we got this opening skit. Boom, straight into this 1-minute track that's amazing. Bang, like.
Yeah, but would you put it in a playlist?
No, but that's not the point. The point is that it's just it all works. Like for the mixtape, like I would never take those things off. I wouldn't make this track longer. I wouldn't take off the prelude. I'd keep everything as it is so far. Yeah,
I mean, I see that. I think my point is more that a prelude fits within the album, but it's not replayable. Like it's not, you know, it doesn't have that replayability. It only has a replayability if you listen to the whole album start to finish, or the whole mixtape from start to finish.
Yeah, which is what I do. I listen to this mixtape from start to finish.
Yeah, well, that's what I've said I do with every single mixtape or album. Like, I just feel they've been crafted in such a way that the artist has intended for you to listen to the whole thing, like hairy balls and all. Like, you know, it's just like listen to it all. If, you know, if you don't like it after the first listen to it, okay, then skip tracks. But like. I don't know. I feel like it's an insult to not listen to the prelude and the intro, because it's like Cyhi obviously put them there for a reason. It wasn't just for, you know, particularly Cyhi, because obviously he's like, you know, he does his raps for himself and his true fans, whereas I suppose some other mainstream artists might have other people pulling their strings to to do certain poppy songs or things like that. But like for this project, I suppose in particular, I guess you're right, Danny. You need to listen to the whole thing and just soak it in and like take it as like a movie. Like you're being entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think, we're all pretty close on this, Matt. Just a bit harsh in my opinion, but, I can see how you just want more and then give a 4. I thought this was clearly a 5-star track. And Danny obviously the same. But if we move into the first proper song in the album, Huey, track 3, what do you gentlemen think?
This is a 5-star track. 5 stars. No?
Well, you go on.
It's the first 5-star track of the mixtape for me. The sample, absolutely juicy. It's an immediate highlight for me of this whole song. I thought this was interesting. It reminds me of something that Kanye or Jay-Z would rap over. I compare it to sort of like Otis from Watch the Throne.
Yeah, I get that vibe. Now that you say it, yeah, definitely.
It has that same sort of sound to it. And interestingly, on Genius, I saw that he Cyhi employs a flow that he mimicked from Jay-Z. It says that in the raps that he's spitting, like it's a Jay-Z flow and Jay-Z like rhyme scheme, if an artist can even sort of claim a rhyme scheme. So I thought that was interesting. I guess that's Kanye's influence rubbing off on Cyhi there. He's spitting on this track like with braggadocious lyrics like, "My bad, I love Jeezy, but I'm still the best to ever do it, and I ain't even put a CD out. So the next time you say the A ain't got no lyricist, I just think you ain't got enough taste for this exquisite shit." Like, it's just like, I love that. Also, interesting pickup from the title, obviously being Huey. Upon a bit of research, I discovered that Huey refers to Huey P. Newton. So Royce actually referenced this person on the allegory, given that it was a similar sort of theme to his album. He's one of the co-founders of the Black Panther Party, a revolutionary socialist political organization, and obviously that ties in really nicely with the theme of Cyhi's album. And I noticed, I couldn't help myself but looking ahead on the track listing. So I gathered from this track that, and then the ones that are to follow, that Cyhi is going to call on notable African-American people to inspire his tracks. So I thought that was kind of cool. The hook ties in nicely with the title, and the feature is good. But my least favourite part of the song, based on this listen, however, given that, it's not enough for me to not give it 5 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I gave this 5 stars as well. And the reason is, well, jazzy beat, heavy drums again, and the ooh sample just, like, I'm just bobbing my head. Just that, getting that soul sample in there, it just adds another layer of depth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's constipated, but I love it.
And he has some, like, if I look at this whole first verse, it is so punchy. Like, I chose the lines, I know if you a shooter by the way you handling the gun.
Oh, that's my line.
And you're done. Shells burn like candles in the sun. I'm not a fan of gun violence nor having a strap, but get popped once and I swear that you'll be scrambling for one. It's so punchy that, like, he gets to go, I'm from the hood. I know what you look like I know how to pick a shooter. And to all those people who are hating for people carrying guns, you get shot and then you come and tell me not to carry one.
Yeah.
It's just so gangster, like it hits. And then, after the lines that you referenced, Matt, he goes, so the next time you say the A ain't got no lyricists, I just think you ain't got enough taste for this exquisite shit. My verses are like Leviticus to the underprivileged. I make music for the world. You make music for a stripper
bitch.
Oh, it's just like he murders you on this. Like, if you...
Are they your favourite lyrics, Aaron, of the track?
Yeah. Oh,
And
I could choose
why?
any lyrics. No, I could choose any lyrics in this track, in the first verse especially, and they are all killers. Like this
Hold
is
on, but what did you list as your favourite lyrics?
I'm the first ones that I mentioned. I know you're a shooter, by the way, handling the gun.
Gamble and you're done, shells burn like candles in the sun.
Did you have the same, or?
Hell yes. That is gangster. That is like Prodigy level gangster shit right there. Like the imagery of shells burning in a gunfight. Like, that is exactly the kind of hip hop that I love.
Yeah, that was alone that first verse. That's 5 stars. Like that was amazing. And you add the beat, and maybe like I wouldn't change anything about this song. This song to me was just like has that replayability. I would listen to this over and over again, and I do.
Yeah.
No, that makes me happy to hear that actually, Aaron, because like I know in the previous review, like, and it was Royce too. It's like your man. Like you I think you gave out 1 5-star. So to see you have already given out a 5-star. Did you give the intro a 5-star as well?
Yeah, this is my second one.
So you've already given out 2 5-stars. Like, I mean, that's that makes me happy.
Well, I mean, my point is that it has nothing to do with who you are. If it's good music, it's good music.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And it is good music.
Oh, I knew you would say that. Interestingly, that you boys both had the same favourite lyrics. I suppose we're going to get some crossover. Well, of course we're going to get some crossover.
That's what was like making me excited was if we were going to match up, like how often we were going to pick the same lyrics. Like I'm excited to see what happens in the next few songs.
Well, my I do love those lyrics, but the ones I listed here were my verses are like Leviticus to the underprivileged. I make music for the world. You make music for a stripper, bitch, and now the reason why I like these is because they're at the end of the first verse, I believe, and like not only is it just a real punchy way to finish that first verse, but the double entendres in this are insane. Yes, I geniused this to figure this out. So first thing, he's comparing his verses to the book in the Bible, Leviticus. So he's saying that he's sort of sharing his raps with like the needy, the people, and then he's saying that he makes music for these people, for not only these people but the world. Whereas he's comparing himself to other rappers who make music not only for a stripper bitch, but the way he's put it is also for a bitch N. Mm-hmm. So he's comparing it to not only women but also men. So he's like, I don't know, I just love that because he's like, at first you didn't think he's just like targeting like bitches, but he's also like targeting like the men who are just bitches as well. Like, it's just like. He's just I you know how you said you love like that sort of raw like gangster shit. Like I like that sort of like I like that, but I also like that sort of like beef, like attacking everyone. I think that comes from like my love of Eminem. Like I love that. I love hearing him like just attacking other people. Yeah, definitely. I'm saying it's 5 stars. This is the hardest beat on the album. I'm not going to say it's my favorite. It's the hardest beat. It's the hardest song. Like, when a song comes on and like it makes you do like that screw face, like, it's just like, like I do that every time this song starts. Just go, it's nasty. Oh, that makes me sad because it's like, it reminds me of Big Quinn.
So is this the first one we all gave 5 stars?
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah. There we go. It's our first simultaneous. Like it's the first time all 3 of us have agreed on a review,
and it won't be the last.
I don't think it will. The cool thing about this song is that it was actually remixed by Joel Ortiz and Royce as well. So as soon as you remix a beat, that beat is fire.
Yeah.
Well, don't you love how on the back of the mixtape cover it tells you who like produced every single track. Like I think that's really cool because it gives props to those producers because I feel like they're often forgotten unless you're like a real like producer head. Like I suppose like I know Danny mentioned, and even you, Aaron, you both mentioned like producers that you really love. Whereas me, like I other than bloody like Dr. Dre, I don't know anyone. So it's like it's good to have that on the mixtape because it gives me that visual of seeing those names and being like, oh yeah, I've seen that name before. Like, you know,
well, this is how you get into producers. You listen to an album, you listen to a beat, and you think it's amazing. You look up who did it, find other songs that person made, and then that's how you find new music and find people that you love and you know, people you can follow their careers.
Because the cool thing is that because producers do a lot of work with a lot of different people, you actually find other artists purely because the producers are doing the rounds. Like if you look at, you know, DJ Premier, how many artists has he worked with? So if you look through his catalog, you're guaranteed to find at least one person that you're going to like. And so it's a really good way of going, I like this sound. And if you just go from sound alone, then you can find, you know, other music that sounds similar or a producer that you are like, oh, this sounds really good. I'm interested to see what else they've done.
Yeah. Actually, before we go into the next track, which I'd like to take the lead on.
Well, I want to say one more thing about this one.
Okay, but I have a question for you. Would you rather? Yeah. Would you rather be the greatest rapper of all time or the greatest producer of all time?
Well, I don't know. Like, the rapper gets all the fame and fortune. Like, you're still the best at hip-hop at something, and the rapper gets everything, and the producer stays pretty unknown, apart from Dr. Dre.
Okay. Aaron?
I like the music side of it. Hip-hop, like, I've always loved the music, but I like attention. So purely based on fame, money, attention, I would be a rapper. But all things equal, if I would get exactly the same things being the best producer, I'd probably go producer.
I feel like the producer is like the boss for some reason. I'm not sure why. I feel like the producer
produces the songs. Yeah. That's what Dr. Dre does.
So
he says, take that lyric off, put that on. That hook's shit, take that off, say this instead.
Yeah, he's like a conductor. Like that's why it surprises me that Aaron says he wants to be the rapper, because I see Aaron as like the boss. So it's like I would have assumed Aaron would be like, no, I'm going to go producer for sure.
No, but it's only because you wouldn't get as much fame and money and success out of being the best producer as you would as being the best rapper. But if they were the same, then I would go producer.
Yeah. Let me also say there is a difference between a producer and a beat maker. A beat maker just makes a beat, hands it off to the rapper and goes, here, use this if you want. A producer sits in the studio with you and you work on the song together. So being a producer is pretty full on.
Multifaceted.
To being a beat maker. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Danny? Your last thing?
Well, King Louis. Who's a King Louis fan? I know Matt's not.
I didn't mind. He didn't take anything away from me. Like he just didn't. Like he didn't ruin the song to me. He was like, he sounded all right, but this is all about Cyhi. Like if you got rid of him, I wouldn't mind, but also I didn't mind him there.
Yeah. So okay. So he was nothing special, is what you're saying.
He was decent.
Yeah.
But I couldn't compare his rhymes to Cyhi's.
I can. He's got some good shit. I picked exactly the same two lyrics that you guys picked. So I picked Aaron's as my favorite, the handle in the gun, gamble and you're done. That's my actual favorite. But then my second favorite was I make music for the world, you make music for a stripper bitch. But I almost wanted to pick King Louis' opening line as my absolute favorite of the whole song. This that Chirac where out-of-towners die at. I advise you book your flight now and fly back. That shit is gangster. The opening door verse like that is so dope. Like, he made a mark for me. Like, he fits the track perfectly. He's grimy. You feel the griminess. Like, he's about the street, and those opening lines just sell the whole verse for me. So I'm a fan.
So I will say his last two lines are really good too. Hit him and his mans, get him in a body bag, give me a track and I'm a body that.
Yes, you see? He's actually good.
Maybe I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I just think in comparison, he loses to Cyhi, but on his own, with those, he's good.
Yeah. I just don't want to brush him off because I think he was actually good on the track.
Yeah, I think I just got too blown up in Cyhi's gangster shit in this to look back. But yeah, now like listening to you and going through my notes, yeah.
You're always going to miss things on the first. You always miss things and miss like artists on the first thing or line. Yeah. So it's like, you got to listen to these things a few times.
Well, I've been listening to this since 2014, so like I legit have. And coming back after like 6 years and listening to it again, it was like listening to it for the first time. It was so fresh. Like, come on, let's all say it. This is such an amazing mixtape. Like, I've been listening to it all week, non-stop, like for fun, not just to review it, just to like listen to it. Like, it's so good.
All I'm saying is, right now, after listening to the first 3 tracks of the album, I was like, God damn, this is on the way to being amazing. I was super excited after the first 3. And then Mandela hit, track 4, Mandela.
Yeah, Matt wants to go.
Favorite track of the album for me.
Woo!
This track. You know what this track is? It's goosebumps. Like every time I listen to it, particularly like the first like half of the song. It's just, I said, Cyhi, wow, Cyhi goes hella hard on this track. The beat bangs. I wish I like had my car. I could listen to this. The background vocals and hook are empowering. And the soft strings instrumental that begins to wrap up this song halfway through the second verse is pleasant on the ears. However, listening to it this morning, I was like, oh, just give me back that hard hitting beat in the first half of the whole song. Like in the second verse, it starts to sort of wind down, and I'm like, maybe I'm just being greedy, but that first half is just absolute goosebumps for me, and the second half is not bad at all. It's just like, I just wanted more of that first half, but still, it's my favorite track. There are dope bars, I said, embedded throughout the track that are presented in such a way that it sounds like Cyhi is literally preaching to his listeners. Although the following lyrics are not my favourite from this track, they deserve a notable mention in my eyes for their braggadociousness.
Stop reading, mate. Stop reading.
Okay.
Yes, I say in this review that say it to us now live.
Yeah, just tell us what you think.
Okay, so these lyrics are amazing. Their braggadociousness and wit. But I'm soon to be the king. Fuck you and your team. Bada boom, bada bing.
Yes.
You don't like the way I rule my regime, like the month before June and spring. Oh, it's just like, it's just like, I was like, hold on, the month before June, spring? What? Like, I was like, I got it eventually. I was like, that is so smart. I said, I like just absolutely fucked with this track. It's undoubtedly worthy of 5 stars. And for me, that's 2 5-star tracks in a row so far. So, this is just so hard, this track. Like, I'll be so surprised if you boys don't give this 5 stars.
Wait. Is this track is harder than Huey?
Well, for me, I have like when you listen to a mixtape and then the next day you wake up with a particular song in your head. This is the song that I woke up with in my head. So
that's really interesting.
I'm not sure if it's harder, but like
you said the hardest. I don't know if it's the hardest.
It just Yeah, I could be wrong. It's the hardest.
But it's just I'm being semantic, like, you know, I'm being semantic.
Yeah.
It's just the best. You're meant to say it's like it's the best.
Yeah, it's for me personally, it's my favorite track at this moment on the album because it just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
interesting. Because I was at first when this song starts, I'm like, it's such a different sound, and I didn't love it. But then that sample kicks in, and goddamn, I'm in all the way. There's just something about that sample that elevates it, and that hook is just epic. It just feels like a production vibe, and you cannot listen to this song and not get sucked into that epic production vibe. But Matt, you said that his flow changes in the second beat, in the second verse, but I love that. The cool thing about Cyhi, and this whole album has it, is he mixes up his flow to match the beat that he's rhyming on, and it is so clean and so smart and so eloquent. This was really good. He had some more, killer lines on it, like, "You'll know I'm the best, but I swear you're in denial, and they don't want to say it because I'm better than they idol." Whoever you think is good, I'm better than that. That's just braggadocious. Yeah. It's just multi-syllable rhyme. It's a really smart rhyme scheme, and it's just a killer. Like this song as well. My gut instinct at the start was like, I know, but then listening to the whole thing, I was like, 5 stars. Again, 5 stars.
Yeah, I agree. Danny?
I also agree. The beat is epic. I'm not hardest. When I say hard, it brings up some kind of emotion. Like Huey is hard. It makes me do something to my face when I'm listening to it. Like this isn't hard. It is amazing though. It's just epic. It's got that African feel to it. Like this should be on the soundtrack to Black Panther or something. Like it feels like the hook. Tell me you don't chant Nelson Mandela every time they do the hook.
You do.
You go Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela. So good.
It's like some cult shit.
Cyhi's 2 favorite things to rap about, and he does it on this song, is drug dealing and how good he is at rapping.
Yeah.
That's all I ever want anyone to rap about is gangster drug shit and just how much better they are than you. So he's doing everything that I love. And he can back it up by actually being an amazing rapper. My favorite line, it's kind of corny, but my favorite line was, "Can't tell us shit if you ain't never spent time trying to sell a Nick just to get the car with the trunk in the front. Shorty, that's Ella."
Best.
And just the delivery of it, it's kind of corny, but it's also kind of smart, because luxury cars usually have trunks in the front. Elephants have their trunks in the front. It's funny, and the way he delivers it, it's all in the delivery as well. He sells that line to perfection.
He's also got some amazing other ones. He's got that one, got pulled over by the police this week. They asked me why I got a fully loaded piece with me. I say, "Officer, I'm just trying to get home peacefully."
Yeah.
That's my favorite lyric of the whole track.
Of the whole track? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's got so many. That's why it's fun to pick your favorite, because it's possible to pick 5 different ones on each track. And yes, it's corny. That line I picked is corny, but he gets away with it. And I feel like other corny rappers like Eminem or Joyner Lucas or Logic, if they said that line, it would come off 100% corny. But the way Cyhi says it, it's kind of cool.
It's because he does because he says some hard shit though as well.
True, he says some hard shit. I like that. Like he says some hard shit so that he can get away with some cornier shit. I like that.
Yeah, whereas Eminem says a lot of corny shit. Like
in a row, like corny shit after corny bar after corny bar.
Yeah,
it gets a bit tedious. Now, I'm not saying Cyhi is better than Eminem, but I'm not saying it.
Got to do a bit of inferring.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely, like, his punchline game is top.
Oh, it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's 5 stars.
I keep the heat right there underneath the seat. Got pulled over by the police this week. That's why I got this fully loaded piece with me. I said, "Officer, I'm just trying to make it home peacefully."
See, the way you deliver it makes it way better.
Yeah. I just love the end. Like, Aaron, did you get it as well? Like, I'm just trying to make it home peacefully, like, with a fully loaded piece. Like,
Yeah.
So good. Yep. So good.
Awesome. Next track. Danny, do you want to get into Napoleon?
I sure do.
Track 5, Napoleon. Bang.
Track 5, Napoleon. This is my favorite song on the album. This is like, there's so many good punchlines in this song. Like, this is a punchline clinic. Rappers need to study this shit. Rappers need to study and learn how to do punchlines from this one song. 100% my favorite song. However, if I have one tiny complaint about the song, there are a couple of times where he delivers a punchline and then he explains the joke straight after. For example,
get it? Study abroad.
Yeah. Well, he does it a few times. He goes, try to battle me, you're gonna need paramedics. That means 2 paramedics. like it's a great line, but like, let us work it out on our own. Like, it'd be way better if, like, on the 2nd or 3rd or 10th listen, the punchline actually clicks and you get, like, a whole new appreciation for the song, as opposed to, like, being, explained a joke. It's never funny if someone explains a joke to you.
Yeah.
Eminem does it all the time.
Well, he says, get it, study abroad.
Yeah, well, that's the other one.
That exact line.
That's the other one I was going to point out. I went into some classes overseas. Now all I do is study abroad. Get it? Study abroad. Do you get it now?
Look, he's just trying to help the simple listeners. You know, he's just trying to help them out.
Yeah, like, that's like my tiniest complaint, and even then, they're still really good punchlines. Just don't explain them to me. Other than that, like, I've just gone through and just picked, like, all these punchlines that were like contenders for my favorites. Like, I never went to school for writing, but I'm still good with them essays. So funny.
Yeah.
You're gonna need your liquor license just to fuck with my bars.
Yeah, I chose that as one of my favorite. That's just so good.
My mind is so deep, I swear that you couldn't fathom this. It's just witty writing. Like, not only that, he also has, like, great flows. Like, and a helicopter full of helicopters sounded like Andy Milonakis on the teleprompter. It just sounds good. He's a good rapper. I want to guess Matt's favorite line. Can I guess Matt's favorite line?
Yeah. Rap
is like college. I'm working on my doctorate because I already mastered it. Did I get it?
That was one of them.
It's not the one.
This track posed
Well, there's also the line, you know, we ain't in the same class. You algebra, I'm calculus.
Hey, that's my favorite one. I was getting to that. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite one. Like, it's just such a good way of saying I'm better than you. He has a million different ways of saying how much better he is than you, and every one of them is funny.
Sorry for dropping out there, boys.
I thought you had finished.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. That this track poses a challenge for me, as you like alluded to, Danny. I couldn't pick my favorite track lyrics without like writing down a few. In fact, I wrote down 9.
Yeah.
So
like, as well.
Yeah. So I mean, that one was on there. But I also love the closing line.
I was just about to get to that.
I love we ain't in the same class, you algebra, I'm calculus.
That's my fave.
I love, now it's Greek mythology because I run with the gods, as in like, you know, Kanye West's Jesus, you know, Streetosology because I'm one with the stars. You got that one that you bought is mentioned on, but I love how he finishes it. Puffing cigars, leave the show to a lovely menage. he's just like he reminds me of like, how would I describe, he's like a classy rapper. He's like an educated, he's like a, and like I feel like he really plays on that with the content of this song. It's all about going to school and, you know, studying and like, you know, working on your doctorate. Like it's got an educational theme, this song, throughout it. So he really like plays on that wisdom that I think he has. I also liked this is a good one. A pound in a food saver look like a head of lettuce. Still and steal my metaphors like I never said it. And I love how he delivers that line. Like it's like he's like questioning. He's like, I never said it. Like, come on. That's a great one. How you a gangster but on Instagram emojiing.
Yes. Yeah.
And he also has like this line. I love that, like, bullet wounds left in my friends with the ugliest scars. Revenge, I'll get you even, but what are your odds?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's just like, I'll get you even. What are your odds? Wordplay, and you know, and he's going to finish the job.
It's so good. But like, you know, the gangster with the Instagram emoji remind me of 50 Cent because he's always posting like, you know, emojis and like just weird. Sometimes it's funny shit, but other times it's just like, so mate, what are you posting that shit for? Finally, now I'm pulling chicks at night feeling like Scorpion, the way he pronounced it. I mean, it's obviously Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, but I love that. Pulling chicks like Scorpion, because one of Scorpion's infamous moves in Mortal Kombat is he unleashes that sort of rope from his arm that then flies out and attaches onto an enemy and then pulls them closer to Scorpion. And then as he's doing that, he says, "Get over here." And then like you hear that in the rap as well. So this is a 5-star track. I found it hard to listen to this and review this in the sense that I listened to it so many times before. So if I had probably never listened to it, this may have been, like Danny said, the best track of the album. But like, because I'd heard it so many times before, like I don't know how many times I've listened to this. Like I've watched the music video for this like countless times because I think it's like really cool. And I just like seeing Cyhi, to be honest. I like putting like a face to the raps. But like, I don't know, my one thing with it is, do you ever get that, like, you know, do you ever like listen to a song so many times that you just kind of like, oh, this sounds bad, but like you don't want to, like, loses its replay value? Like this song for me now is like Stan, for example, from Eminem. Like I know Stan is an absolute classic and it's a great song, but I'd prefer to listen to Huey. I'd prefer to listen to Mandela now because I've listened to Napoleon so many times because I was dumb and didn't go listen to this mixtape in its entirety earlier. I purely just listened to Napoleon. So it's like I've sort of this song has lost its appeal for me, but I know it's a 5-star track and I know it's dope. But it's just like, I'm just like, next, move on.
By the way, this song is better than Stan.
What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Look, I'm going to say, and I think we've kind of loved this song to death a little bit, and like it's really clear we all love this song. But I'm just going to say, all you hear is bang, boom, pow, onomatopoeia. Then I'm gone. 5 stars. My favorite track of the album.
Oh, we synced up. Up. That's so cute. Matt, you're a loser. But you know what that means? Matt's favourite song was Mandela. Mine and Aaron's favourite song was Napoleon. It's all downhill from here, baby!
maybe boys, maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned my favourite song until like the end of the album, like when we'd all gone through everything.
I was going to say it when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, I guess no time like to find out what happens in the rest of the album. And Matt, and again, one of your favourites, an interlude, track 6, interlude. Matt, give us your review, the king of interludes.
Guys, I was only playing about Mandela being my favourite track of the album. I'm going to call it now, like this interlude. But 3 stars again. It connects to it connects and expands on the first prelude. 3 stars.
Hey, take your stars and shove them up your ass. They're worthless.
It's nice that Cyhi's keeping to the story on this. Like I said, this is actually the first time I said it makes it feel more like an album rather than a mixtape to me. So I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Don't skip it. Don't skip it.
No. But no need, Matt, you've said everything that we think about it, so I think we should just move on to the next track. Number 7, Be Great.
Don't be good.
Be great.
Yeah. Who wants to be great first?
My least favourite song on the mixtape so far.
Okay. I thought you were about to say my least favourite song on the mixtape. I was going to kill you.
Yeah. I was going to be like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What did you think I said?
I thought you were just going to stop and say worst song on the mixtape. So stop.
Oh, no, it's my least favourite on the mixtape so far.
Yeah.
Cyhi's lyrics here I just didn't feel were as strong as they were on previous tracks. The hook is just very, very basic and repetitive, and I'm not a huge fan of the beat or the background vocals. I do like Tupac's spoken word introduction.
Love it.
Yeah, I watched...
anything that's not actual rapping, Matt, you'd love.
No, but this time he's right.
No, because like I've watched lots of like interviews of rappers, and Tupac is one of them, and I've actually seen him like say this particular line or these lines in the interview, so I immediately like connected with that. So I like that, and I also understand Cyhi's choice to use like this like an upbeat tempo, as like Tupac's spoken introduction, the upbeat tempo match with the like I think it's an overall motivational message of the song. It'll be good, be great. It just didn't quite hit the mark. Yeah, it just didn't quite hit the mark for me, unfortunately. So it's a 3-star track.
It's just as good as the interlude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think I should point out how I score I score the interludes and the tracks separately. So for an interlude, it's 3 stars. This for an actual track, it's 3 stars. But yes, they are the same.
Okay.
Because I thought this track, it wasn't my favourite of the ones that we've listened to so far. Like I've given, what is it, 4 or 5-star track. So there's a point where you just can't sustain that. But this sound again just didn't hit me in the right way. You know, we come from songs that just have this catchy, epic, like gangster vibe, and into this one it just didn't hit as well. But he had some cool lines here, not as many as in the previous songs, but like any word to trigger squeeze, so before you leave, kiss your seed on the cheek, tell them don't be good, be great. It's just a cool message, like, you know, that everyone, that, you know, common saying of, you know, your dad saying be good until your dad comes home, be good. And it's like, it's just a cool message. It's like a real nitpick on, you know, everyone just says be good, but being great is so much better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Like, this is still It's up there. You can replay it. You can probably chuck it in a playlist. Yeah, there's still rhymes here. It's still really well structured. It's just not as good as his other ones.
Yeah. Well, when you start your album with Huey into Mandela into Napoleon, one of the best 3-song stretches in any mixtape or album ever, like, it's going to be hard to keep going, like you said. Those 3 songs in a row is mind-blowing.
But you add the intro into there, and that's a 4-song stretch. Like, the intro is short, but, that's 4 songs of just absolute fire. But
I think it's even stronger if you just take the 3 songs in a row, and it's
I agree.
And it's Huey, Mandela, and Napoleon. That is even stronger. But anyway,
that's why he threw the interlude where he did, because maybe he knew that Big Great is not as great as the others. It's only good.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be right.
The interlude also leads into this song, really. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, I am in the same boat as you, Aaron. I also think it was 4 stars. It's not horrible, and it's not amazing, and it's actually very good in parts. Like, when the song starts, whatever that beat is like, it's really messy, and it doesn't sound good to me. As the song starts, it's like, oh no, this is no good. But then it starts going to that like that vocal sample starts, and then I'm into it, and then I'm loving it. So there's parts that I don't like, which is bad, and then there's parts that I really do like, so it makes up for it. But yeah, the hook, nothing great to me. Like, it's not as catchy as anything that's come before. So, but Cyhi does not disappoint, I reckon. I think he's got some good bars, like you say, Aaron. Honourable mention goes to I Always Say I Can, Fuck Your T and Your Apostrophe. I mean, it's just a cool way of saying that there's no such thing as can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that, or you can say it in a way cooler way. But the one line, do you guys know the line that I'm about to say?
No.
Matt, do you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, I do.
But I mean, I kind of have a vibe as to which one.
Matt, I want you to say what I'm going to say.
I think it's a collection of these. Check my credentials, I got sentimental. Value every time a sheet of paper touch my pencil. Mix determination with potential. So ahead of my time, my mind is Eastern, but I'm central.
No.
Because I think I know. I think it's wait in the rental, a lot of fights, a lot of robberies. I wasn't injured when the pussy shot at me, so I solemnly swear the flow. This is Scarface mixed with
the old
Prodigy.
Oh, actually, I did notice that in the thing. I was like, oh, that's a shout out for Danny. I was like, oh, is that going to be his favorite lyrics though? Okay.
Oh, yes. I mean, any shout out to Prodigy is going to be my favorite lyric. That's it. Full stop. Like, and the way, like, this is Scarface mixed with the old Prodigy. Like, first of all, he has great taste. Let's be honest. And then secondly, he says the old Prodigy. So he has the opinion that Prodigy was like in his prime in the infamous Hell on Earth days. That's exactly what I think. And then he fell off, I guess. Like, he wasn't as good after that. However, he was the greatest rapper alive when he was releasing those albums. So I just like the idea that Cyhi is influenced by and like takes inspiration from my favorite rapper of all time. I just think it's like really comforting to me. Like, he specifically picked out old Prodigy as he is a mix of Scarface and old Prodigy. So that is 100% my favorite line. But overall, like, nothing blows me away. But there are elements I do really like. So it's 4 stars. Like, it's solid. But it's not 5 stars.
Next track 8. Do the shit for Basquiat.
Oh.
I might kick this one off because there's this hook, I think we can all agree, is so catchy.
Yeah.
Like, it is what you remember from start to finish. You're like, I didn't know I do the shit for Basquiat, but like I do. And like that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I don't give a shit. I'll do it for him. But like, I looked into this as well.
Even though you don't know who he is, you know what it represents.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't know who Basquiat was. I had to look it up. But you know that he means like he does it for the art.
Like I was so impressed with his art references here. Like it's really impressive to see how many times he references different like artists. I'm not talking about, rap artists. I'm talking about like actual people who paint and, all these different people like Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, sex isn't art. It's just like Picasso. So don't do it for me, do it for Basquiat. It's just really well structured. He just hits all these different points and he just kind of shows off a little bit of intelligence here. Like he's got, a little bit of understanding of more than just hip hop. Like he has
his worldly
background. He's got he's well versed. And then, you go back to Napoleon, he's talking about school and you're like, well, looks like he actually did do something in school because he paid attention. He talks about my fans follow me everywhere. My van, go.
I love that line.
Girl, Vermeer, arts. It's just wordplay. It's just so smart. This is 5 stars. This is just super catchy. This replayability is there because you just do that shit for Basquiat.
It's a banger. It's actually a banger. I'll go. So basically, everything that you said, Aaron, is exactly my thoughts. Like, everything you said is what I wrote down. Like, the art references, just across the whole spectrum of the arts, musicians, fashion designers, painters, like the Beatles, Van Gogh, Girl with the Pearl Earring. Like, it's all in there. Like, you can't pick it all up in one listen. Like, you'd have to listen to pick up everything. So, the concept is amazing, and he pulls it off. Did you say your favourite line?
I think, like, there's nothing that's super gangster here. I just liked the sex is just like the car, so don't do it for me, do it for Basquiat. I just love that, how it flows into it, and I love that my fans follow me everywhere my van go.
Yeah, I picked that. That's like my honourable mention. That's just so funny. Kind of corny, but it's good.
I know I know exactly the one you're gonna say.
I don't know. I really don't think you do. Go. You go. All right, go.
Born to be the greatest, so I'm the best overall. Oshkosh, bagosh, damn. Seriously, because I don't know. It's kind of going off what you were saying before about it being sort of a bit corny. Like, this is a bit corny, but it's also fucking funny as well. Because obviously Oshkosh Bagosh are an overall like company or design overalls.
Obviously,
so it's just like
knew that, and we had to look it up. But once you know that it's a children's clothing brand that specializes in overalls, then to say born to be the greatest, so until my body rot, I'm the best overall Oshkosh Bagosh. Funny. That is just the best way to say that you are the best.
It's hilarious. It is really funny. Like, I love that there's a brand out there, Oshkosh Bagosh, because if you don't know it, like, none of us have kids, so none of us are like into children's brands, so we would never know. And when you hear it, it's so funny. Just a guy saying, "I'm the best overall Oshkosh Bagosh."
Oh my
He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Wait, is that your favorite as well, Matt?
I had 4 on here. That was one of them.
But how did you know that one was my favorite? I just don't understand.
Possibly because it could be because
I've never said that before.
Nah, you've played this track with me before. And even despite it being years and years ago, there are certain lyrics throughout this mixtape that for some strange reason have like stuck out to me, and I can like almost hear you saying them like to me. Like my favorite mixtape lyrics, which I'm not going to reveal until the end. I chose because not only do they make me laugh, but I can literally hear you saying them, and I have fond memories of them, and it's just like I don't think the lyrics are even particularly like that. Like, oh my gosh, look at those multi-syllables, but they're just funny like this line. Like, it's just I don't know.
I can't wait.
This line has you written all over it.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's 5 stars. It's the samples, beat, instrumental, lyrics, and hook. I love them all. I've said that at this point when I was writing this, I said this could be my favorite track of the mixtape thus far. Yeah. So of course it is worthy of 5 stars. So it's interesting. I ended up telling you that Mandela is my favorite because when I was listening to them this morning, I was like, all right, the two I'm going back to are Basquiat because I wrote that on the review, and Mandela. They're the two and I listened to them both, and I was like, Mandela just gives me goosebumps, so it's got to be my 5 star. I've got to be my favorite, but this track would be up there as well with either equal favorite or second favorite. It's just, you know what? In the favorite lyrics, I'm with you, Aaron. I put the favorite lyrics with a bloody hook. Ask me if I'm on the radio. I'm probably not, but I don't do it for the radio. How funny is that? That like some of my favorite lyrics are from the bloody hook. Like, I don't know. It's just like this is such a well-rounded song. He's so he's just so educated. It just shows how smart he is. Like, I picked up on what you were saying, Aaron. I said the weaving several known painters, singers, clothing designers, actors, rappers. Like, what was that line about Leonardo and Gallardo? Like,
so funny.
Yeah, the Beatles line. This is how it would have sounded if the end was in the Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And the Van Gogh line. Like, I only picked up on that because I was following along with the Genius lyrics at the time. But like, that's amazing as well. So. This is an absolute classic. This is one you will go back to and listen to again and again. I just hope it doesn't become like Napoleon for me. Like, I listen to it too much, but I think what this has on it that Napoleon doesn't, this is probably something that I also say Napoleon doesn't have, is this has a catchy hook. This feels like a song, whereas Napoleon doesn't feel like a song. Napoleon feels like a spit verse, like he's just going for it. Whereas this is as 50 Cent would say, like, any rapper can spit, but can you make a song? Well, this is proof that Cyhi can make a song.
Well, I would say that not any rapper can spit, but, they're completely different. What Cyhi is doing here is showing his range, and you've got to give him huge props for that because he's, got gangster beats. He's got, that African style beat in Mandela with the epic vibe. He's got Basquiat. Like, so far, you're like, this dude has amazing range, and you're like, could be amazing.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next track, can I just say, we don't do this podcast for the radio. But
we do it for Dead End Hip Hop, baby.
No, but like, isn't that just it though? Like, we're like, the reason why we spend all the time listening to these albums and writing reviews and doing the podcast is because we love like hip hop. So it's like, this song speaks to all the people who love hip hop because it's like, this is why we invest ourselves.
Well, anyone who likes art, anyone who's into art and who's like, and it doesn't matter which type of art form, if you're into it, it's not about, the props. It's literally you just do it because you love it.
Yeah, actually, that's really true because he's referencing so many different art forms. So this song, I think this song is.
Wait, let's be honest. We're not doing this for Basquiat. We're doing this for no one. No one's going to listen to this.
How dare you?
So we are doing it for Basquiat.
We're doing it for Basquiat.
Yeah, exactly. This is our theme song now.
Yeah, we're doing
this. I feel like this song is like a fine wine. This will only get better with age and for it.
But the thing is, like, I did say Napoleon's my favorite song, but I've been listening to Cyhi since 2014. I have gone through phases where this was my favorite song, but I think just overall, osh gosh bagosh, I don't know. See, now you've got me second guessing if Napoli is my favourite song. But, like, I think it is, but Basquiat is a real contender, and there have been periods in my life where Basquiat was my favourite song.
Yeah.
And I think we can all see that. All right, we're going to, talk about this song so much that we'll never want to speak about it again.
Thanks for listening to the show. Please like and subscribe the Slim Fitty and Biggie Committee. Follow us on Instagram at @the_Slim Fitty Biggie Committee. And stay tuned for our next podcast where we'll finish off Cyhi The Prince's The Black Hystori Project. Bye for now.